Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Testin' with Destin. And today we have two new epics, which I'll just say right now are some of the best epics in the game, and they fulfill different roles that no epics in the entire game do. So I want to go over both of them in this video because they're epics, very cookie cutter. I know exactly what they're used for, one specific thing, and I'm just going to show that very quickly, and we're going to move on, basically. So we have Xasny and we have Thunkles. I'll go over both of the kits and then we'll get into their actual demonstration. Starting off with Thunkles. Thunkles, I actually kind of like his design even though he looks a little bit bland. He's an epic, it's fine. I like how he keeps his knives in the folds of his skin. Disgusting, but still cool design choice. Thunkles is the first ever epic anti-healer in the game. As you can see here by his description, he is a cultist tank, damage dealing tank. Stat wise, he's about 24,000 HP. This is somewhat comparable to like a Malvira, which is pretty interesting. His range is very weird for a tank. He has durability, anti-healing. Defense wise, pretty solid. Attack interval wise, if we look at the total attributes, 2.4 attack interval. I don't have any gear on him yet. I'll put gear on him later. Anyways, he also has normal rage regen and his cost is 18. Going into the kit, we can see that when taking damage from an enemy, has a 30% chance of inflicting damage reduction on them. This is actually really, really good. It's 30% damage reduction. For newer players, keep in mind, we do have to keep this on the lens of newer players because they are epics and they will always be pullable. This is insanely good. Early on, where you need something like this to keep your tanks alive. Basic attack wise, we deal damage to one enemy, restores 6 extra rage for every 4 basic attacks launched, allowing him to get back to his ultimate. Then we have the first passive, or the only passive. During the ultimate, increases block by 1, and each basic attack restores 15% of the hero's max HP. For an epic, this is insane, right? Extra block, amazing. And obviously more max HP is also amazing. Going into the ultimate, 800 cost, he gets back to it when doing basic attacks, but he doesn't get a lot of rage from that. So 800 cost, 15 seconds. After casting the ultimate, increases max HP by 40%, great, and expands the basic attack range an extra tile in the front. Each basic attack deals 150% damage up to 8 enemies and inflicts anti-healing for 3 seconds on them. Functionally, this means that he has 18 seconds of anti-healing to 8 units on a epic, right? That is incredibly good. I know people have been asking for an anti-healing epic for a very long time. Incredibly good. Going into the awakenings, which are easy to get, because once again, I'm going to say this a lot, these are epics, right? Everyone will be able to get them A5 pretty easily. The A1, when an enemy dies in range, increases max HP by 2%, stacking up to 16 times. This is incredibly good, right? For a tank, this is like Malvira's A3, which is her best awakening, right? Very good there. A2, extra flat HP. A3, upon taking fatal damage, she's actually going to gain unyielding for 6 seconds, 1 time per deployment. This means if you have him A3, he is viable in gear A2, and he is a lot more viable in areas like early GVG and stuff along those lines. Really good. A4, all damage reductions plus 5%, and the A5 increases the ultimate duration by 5 seconds, making this a 23-second long anti-heal duration. If we go over to freaking Artemis, which in my opinion is the best anti-healer in the game, his ult is only 20 seconds and lasts for 3 seconds, so they have comparable anti-healing uptimes, right? Because at the end, he's going to shoot a shot, it's going to last for 3 seconds, 23 seconds, right? That's kind of how it works. This is a really good epic, and I'm very excited to try him out in some areas that need anti-heal. The other guy is Xasny. I have heard some very good things about Xasny from the people who have already tested him, and I'm very excited to see. He is an esotericist, looks very cool. I love his scythe, eyes blinking like crazy. He is 17 cost fighter, and he has offensive dispel. This is what Kagiri, what Talon, have where they strip a buff, this is going to be incredibly good in areas like APOC, right? He also has single target magic damage, only one range, which usually sucks, but he's an APOC specialist, so that's okay. Normal HP for a fighter, actually a little bit low, but I don't think it matters. Attack's a little bit low, but he also is a magic DPS, so that's actually pretty par for the course. 17 cost, 2.6 attack interval, decent rage regen. Going into the kit, every 3 attacks gain attack interval decrease 15%, allowing him to attack even faster, building up even more rage, because that's kind of how it works, I think. Physical damage reduction, 20%, and magic damage reduction, 20% for 5 seconds. So basically, he's always going to be attacking faster and taking better. When the ultimate is triggered, additionally dispels a buff from the target. So every time you click his ultimate, he's taking a buff, right? He's getting rid of that extra defense in APOC. Stuff like that, right? The basic attack is 85% magic damage to one enemy 2 times. Passive is when successfully dispelling buffs from enemies, he actually inflicts both types of vulnerability and 15% damage reduction. Really screaming APOC for this one, which is pretty good. Lasts for 5 seconds. We also get 700 cost, 10 seconds, absorbs shadow energy to increase attack range to 2 tiles, and change the attack to quadruple strike. So he attacks 4 times at once. Each attack deals 125% magic damage 4 times. Lasts for 10 seconds. Going into the Awakenings. Awakening 1, ultimate attack additionally inflicts stun for 1 second, giving him a little bit of viability in other areas, which is good. A2 is more attack, which is good. A3 restores 10% rage upon successfully dispelling enemy buffs, allowing him to cycle back to it even faster, which is great. A4 is going to have rage regen increased, getting back to his ultimate, and his ultimate duration is 15 seconds when you have his A5, which is very easy to get. So let me build these out, and we'll go into some areas where these guys will be very good. Thunkles is clearly designed for Gear Raid 1, so we will be trying him in 124. I will say he does work in every other stage in any area that you need anti-healing. Gear Dungeon 1, I'm sure you can figure something out, even though I'm sure it would be a little bit harder. But hey, maybe there's some strategies where you use him as a tank at the top, and he's able to put some anti-healing, and you're able to kill things off. Might be actually really good there. But we're just going to do Gear Raid 1 very quickly and go into it. No pod, just traditional run. Now, I will show the build after, mostly because I forgot to show it before. But what I have to say is he does basically 0 damage. His damage output is so bad. I built him in a full attack percent soulbound set, and he did like 3,000 damage a hit. Really bad. So you're going to want to build him a little bit more for rage regen and attack speed and getting back to his ult, which is his main functionality. Here we're going to put down our Nejab, give that little bit of a buff. Then we can also put down our Valara. Let's do it right here. Why not? Then we can do our Elowin right down here. Beautiful. And then we will put down our Rosalia, and then we will start clicking the ults a little bit more often. Here, though, we're obviously going to try to kill the wave as best we can. We're going to put Thunkles in the middle. Now, Thunkles is going to do some abysmal damage, like I said. If we're able to see, he did about 18k damage. If you build him for damage, he will maybe do like 50k right there. I could maybe do a run without recording and just show the results at the end. But basically, you click his ult, and he's going to put out anti-heal, which is going to stop them from getting healed. Does it to 8 enemies. Very solid, right? So that's basically what we're going to do. I'm not going to place down Boreas. We're going to have him as the only anti-healer. Look, it's still active. He has his ult still. Lasts, honestly, a very long time. And he's able to anti-heal everything, right? Which I know is the point of his kit, but it's still impressive, right? Here, we're going to wait until these guys start to walk down. I'll make sure to Thunkles ult in a second. Here, we can click everyone's ult. And let's click Thunkles ult. So it does reach very far as well. And he is always out of danger in this spot. And as you can see, no one is getting healed. These people are all dying. Rosalia is pushing them back way too far for him to affect, so I may sell Rosalia and put down Ezreath. But my point still stands. Anytime his ult is active, basically everything in his range, for the most part, is going to get anti-healed, which is amazing, right? So there, get into his range, even though they should be getting healed, they don't, and we're chilling. So overall, what do I think of him? I think that Thunkles is a very solid hero for early game progression, which is what new epics should be for. And I think he's one of the best anti-healers in the game. I mean, I would rate him better than Lasir. I would argue that maybe an Artemis is a little better because of his healing output, just matching that type of kit very well. But I would argue that having a tank that anti-heals is actually a lot better than having a damage dealer that anti-heals. So overall, I'm actually pretty impressed with Thunkles. Overall, as a progression hero, I'm a little disappointed with his damage, but even if you build him with full damage, he's still not going to do anything. But at the end of the day, that's not what he's for. So overall, I like Thunkles. I think he's quite good. And here's the build that I used. Rage Regen, attack speed, some HP, why not? And then Astral Obelisk for some Rage Regen. You could try some damage if you're missing damage. That's okay. But let's try Xasny. Xasny is going to be against all of these fairly meta DPS. And I'm just going to go through part of an APOC run. I'm not going to do the whole thing because I don't want this video to be too long. I do have him in decent gear, probably better gear than you would have at this time. But we are comparing it to gear of a similar level, so even if you build him a little bit worse, so will your other DPS, right? So we have Shattered Hilt here, as well as these DPS. I tried to make them somewhat low awakenings, except for Wukong, obviously. And we're just gonna go in. So, I don't expect him to do a ton of damage, but at the end of the day, his main functionality is the fact that he strips the buff. So you're gonna see a buff up here during the boss's second phase, and he is going to be able to remove it. So let me put down Narissa first, just so that her, special buff doesn't go on anyone, to give everyone kind of a fair chance. Same with Elowen. I also don't have any inspiration here on the team because I forgot. So don't judge me there. Either way though, we are going to just kind of push through. Bam. It looks like Xasny did get the Narissa thing, so did Numera. So just keep in mind that they do have a little bit of a leg up. We're just going to auto ult and just let this go. So I will also put up the statistics. Holy, what the heck? Okay, that's more like it. Sorry, I saw him second best DPS and I was like shook. So with Narissa buff, he's slightly outclassing Vorn now during his ult, but now that Vorn has his ult that is longer, he's going to break away. I mean, all things considered, that's not bad damage at all. I mean, he's doing about as much as Nastia. He's going to do a little bit more now, and then Nastia will push ahead. So he is the weakest DPS here, but not by that much. Also, we got to go back to that one specific phase. But overall, his damage is actually pretty solid. Once again, it's not absurdly good. It's not broken or anything, but it is very solid. So now that we know the general approximation for the damage, which is a little bit weaker than Nastia, we can actually sell a couple damage dealers here, just because I'll leave Nastia. Just because I do want to try to show off the potential in this phase when the shields build up. And if we kill the phase too fast, then we have to wait for the next one. So I'm just going to let it run here. Right here, he will be putting on Aegis mode. That is one stack. We can click Xasny ult. Here, I'm going to sell some other DPS. And that is going to fully remove the stack, which is pretty nice. Then we can try another ult. I do want to wait for there to be multiple stacks before I use his ult, just because, you know, it reads that it gets rid of one stack, so we can verify that here. He does actually get rid of every stack. So he will get rid of as many as you need. He is also ESO, which gets his ult back faster if you're running an ESO team in this. And yeah, he's going to do a very good job stripping. If you have him as a stripper, you don't need anyone else. That kind of sounds weird. Either way, strip that buff. And then the final thing I want to look at is, does he strip it during his ultimate at the beginning, or is it throughout his ultimate? So I'm going to try to ult with him before the boss puts out the next stack. So we could place the ult here. We get rid of that stack, getting another stack, and it will also get rid of it. So basically, as long as he is hitting in his ultimate, he's going to be stripping. So honestly, his damage is good enough where I could say he may actually be a decently competent damage dealer in more areas than just APOC. Not only that, he has a very unique kind of skill of being an epic that strips buffs from the enemies, and overall I think he's also very good. I think these are two very good epics. The thing is, you have to look at it under the lens of earlier players, and when I was starting out, anti-healing was a struggle. Thunkles makes it not a struggle. Earlier on, I remember when APOC was incredibly hard because, I mean, at the time, Lucius, Kagiri, etc. was not out. But if I just don't have luck in pulling those specific heroes, or I wasn't playing when Kagiri came out, and I couldn't pick him on the recent pick banner, Xasny is going to be incredibly valuable. And even if I'm lacking certain damage dealers, he may be very good too. So overall, I think these are very good additions to the game. And I'm very happy to see them here, even though I may never use them because I've been playing for 3 years, right? So even if you probably won't use them, just acknowledge that they are good heroes for the game. Anyways, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Destined, signing out.